Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. Happy New Year to everybody, and thank you for joining us here on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network is on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio.com, Stitcher.com, TuneIn. We're also on Spotify, Podcast Addict, and Google Podcasts. Thank you for listening to our first podcast of 2020. This podcast will recap the big card in Atlanta, Georgia, featuring Gervonta "Tank" Davis and a whole host of Baltimore area-based boxers. And also we will preview another Baltimore boxer, Franchon Crews-Dezurn, and her upcoming title defense for the WBC and WBO female super middleweight titles. And then we're going to talk about the future of our coverage of Beltway boxing. I have some things to say about it, some personal things that I want to share with you on this podcast. Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you as always by Real-Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, everything between, Boxing on Beltway recommends Real-Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief, the official pain relief of the 2020 Daytona 500. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com. She has great weight loss tips, great dieting, eat without dieting, eating real food on the way. She also has great training methods, and she sells that great jewelry on her site. So go to Deborah, that's DEBRA Spears.com. Well, we had to take a couple weeks off. We had some things going on in the last couple weeks, but we're back with you for a little bit. And, of course, the big thing this past weekend was, of course, the championship match for Gervonta "Tank" Davis, winning his third world championship, a 12th round TKO over former champion Heroicus El Ciclón de Guantanamo Gamboa of Miami, Florida, by way of Cuba. They had 14,000 people at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, the bout was televised by Showtime. Now, in the second round of the bout, Davis dropped Gamboa, and when Gamboa recovered, something seemed to be wrong with his foot and his shoe. His shoe broke. So Davis was knocked down Gamboa again in the 8th round, but Gamboa, who said he may have ruptured his Achilles tendon, he kept coming. But finally in the 12th round, two would go toe-to-toe. Davis would knock down Gamboa for the third and final time. Referee Jack Reese stopped the bout immediately afterward. Time of the stoppage, 1:17. So Davis with the bout captured the WBA lightweight championship. Goes with the IBF and WBA super featherweight titles he held earlier. He went farther in this bout than any in his career, but he scored his 14th consecutive knockout. Davis is now 23-0, 22 KOs. Gamboa is now 30-3, 18 KOs. Well, Gervonta Davis is a fantastic talent, no question about it, but I still question his discipline. I mean, this is the second time that he went into a championship bout, overweight, and he had to try to get the weight down to the limit. And that's just uncalled for. You just don't understand why he has to go through that. Now twice now he has to do that. It just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. But when he's on, he's definitely one of the best talents in the game right now. And they're talking about his next bout, whoever it may be, on pay-per-view. Now I don't know who that's going to happen against, when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen, but it'll be interesting to see what goes on with that. So congratulations to Gervonta Davis, now the WBA lightweight champion of the world. Number of Beltway boxers won this card in Atlanta. Malik Iceman Hawkins out of Baltimore, super lightweight. He won his bout by 5th round TKO. His opponent Darwin Price of Houston, Texas, hurt his knee. He could not continue. The bout was stopped at 118. Hawkins is still undefeated. He's 18-0, 11 KOs. Price suffers his first loss, now 16-1, 9 KOs. Clinton, Maryland, super lightweight Kareem Remo Martin won an 8-round majority decision over Petros Ananayan of Brooklyn, New York, by way of Armenia. Now, one judge did score about a draw at 76-76, but the two other judges taught about for Martin, 78-74. Martin's on a little bit of a roll right now. He's won 5 in a row. He's now 14-2-1, 4 KOs. Ananayan falls to 14-2-2 with 7 KOs. Also in the card, Malik King Warren out of Baltimore scored a second-round knockout over previously undefeated Travion Butts of Dry Branch, Georgia. No word on official time. Warren is now 3-0. All 3 of his knockouts have come in the second round. Butts is now 3-1 with 2 KOs. And Baltimore female lightweight Mia Kill B. Ellis. She made a successful pro debut. She just needed 52 seconds to register a first round TKO over equally debuting Unica Best of Goldsboro, North Carolina. So congratulations to Mila Killer B. Ellis. A long time in coming. And it's great to see her as a pro. So that was a big event that took place on the 25th. The other bout during that week, actually that took place on the 28th. Excuse me, the 28th. So I was going to talk about Alantez Fop. I think we already talked about that last podcast. So we're going to head on to the next bout. Actually, the first bout of 2020 for the Beltway. This comes out of the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. This is WBC and WBO female super middleweight champion, the heavy hitting diva Franchon Crews-Dezurn of Baltimore. She'll defend both those titles against Alejandra La Tigre Jimenez of Mexico City. This will be this coming Saturday, January 11th, at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. And this will be a co-feature bout that will be streamed on DAZN. This will be the second defense of the WBC title, the first of the WBO crown for Crews-Dezurn. She's 6-1, 2 KOs. Her last outing saw her win a 10-round unanimous decision over Maricela Cornejo on September 14th in Carson, California. Cornejo, who lost to Crews-Dezurn for the second time, she was a late substitute for Jimenez, who could not compete in the bout. I think she had some visa issues. Jimenez is 12-1, 9 KOs. And again, every time I read this, it's amazing to me. She's a former heavyweight champion, WBC heavyweight champion, but she's fought her last 3 bouts in and around the super middleweight weight class. Jimenez won an 8-round unanimous decision over Arias Hernandez on February 16th in Cancun, Mexico. So that's the big bout coming up in January for the Beltway. Also, you got January 26th. That's 25th. Jared Hurd coming back on the scene. He will be on a card that will take place at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. He'll take on Francisco Santana of Santa Barbara, California. Saturday, January 25th at Barclays Center. Bout will be shown on Showtime. And also, Gary Russell Jr. will defend his title against undefeated IBO champion Tutskut King Tug Niambar of Carson, California, by way of Mongolia. That will be at the PPL Center in Allentown, Pennsylvania. So that should be interesting to see what happens there. And I have something to show you in just a second. I'm actually at my computer as I'm doing this today. And I'm looking for an event that's going to take place on Wednesday, January the 15th, which is a week from tomorrow as we record this. Wednesday, January 15th. And it's an open event. So we're going to try to find, I'm sorry about that. Trying to type Russell as we do this, Russell family. Let's see. So bear with me just for a moment, please. We're all live. I just wanted to make sure that we got this all together here. Let's see. All right, here we go. They had an event coming up at the Enigma Boxing Gym. Here it is. Located 9100 Edgeworth Drive in Capitol Heights, Maryland. This will be on Wednesday, January 15th. It's open to the public. So you can all see how the Russells are training for their bout. All 3 of the Russells will be on this card. Antonio Russell, as well as Antoine Russell, will join their older brother, Gary. And this will be a WBC and IBO unification bout. That'll be on Wednesday, January 15th, starting at 7:30 p.m. at Enigma Boxing Gym. That's 9100 Edgeworth Drive in Capitol Heights, Maryland. So if you're in the area, stop on by and support the Russells. Now, just a couple things going forward as far as future concerned. First of all, once again, I apologize for being very late in our Boxing on the Beltway year in review. Just real tough. It's tough to get into this. This is where I'm going with this at this point. So bear with me. For those who don't know, since October of 2019, I have been a tour guide at the famous Arlington National Cemetery in Arlington, Virginia. And although I love the job very, very dearly, I really enjoy it, and they've been very patient with me as I try to learn the script they have for the trade. I'm now giving tours myself on my own, and I think I'm doing pretty decently in all honesty. Because of this, though, it's a very, very taxing job. It really is. It's taxing to the point where you got to do a number of loops throughout the day. And I get up like 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready to get myself together, eat breakfast, and head on down to the subway to go to the cemetery. And it makes for a very long day at times. It really does. During this particular time of the year, the tours end at 5. Now, coming up in the spring and the summer, we'll go till 7 o'clock in the evening. Again, a very long day. And, of course, also, you well know that I've been announcing basketball games at Coppin State University and volleyball games as well for the past, for basketball anyway, 25 years. Actually, this is my 26th year over there now. So, between the two, boxing has taken a back seat, in all honesty, for me. Because out of the 3 things that I do, that's the one I don't get paid much, if at all. And because of that, the desire is still there to follow the boxing and write on boxing on the Beltway. But quite frankly, the energy has waned for me. And there are things I've had to change in order to really do it well. My posts and my podcasts have become more infrequent. Hopefully that will change. My willingness to go out to a boxing card has waned somewhat, especially when we talk about Virginia. Now, again, I work in Arlington, Virginia, and it's very difficult to me on my off days to drive back out to Virginia, especially when I have a basketball game that day, like on Saturday. Like, I know there's a boxing card coming up February 8th at Tyson's Playground in Sterling, Virginia. I have a basketball doubleheader that day in Baltimore. And it's very difficult for me, knowing I have to work the next day, to drive out to Virginia and get ready for it. So it's really personal. It has gotten to a point where it's just very difficult for me to do the things I want to do as far as boxing is concerned, especially if I'm not getting paid for it. And I'm getting some feedback from my wife concerning that. And, I don't want to give it up completely. I really don't. I really want to keep doing it as long as I can. But this has been, on that regard, a rough time for me. And I do apologize, but that's just right now. That's the way it is right now. So bear with me on this. Hopefully in the springtime might be a little different. But then again, we're going to go longer hours, so it may not be different. But we'll have to wait and see. But Juan Marshall will hopefully be able to pick up the bulk of the coverage going forward. I'll be there as well. Maryland shows, DC shows, I'll probably, in all honesty, do better attending those shows. But right now, Virginia is difficult for me. And unless I'm getting some money for that, it'd be very difficult for me to get out to a Virginia show at this time. And nothing against Virginia per se, but it's just the way my life is right now. My life's in a good place. Don't get me wrong. I have no complaints about what I'm doing, how I'm doing. No complaints there. It's just that I can't do everything right now. And right now, out of the 3 things that I do on a regular basis, boxing has taken a backseat. So we'll see what happens. We'll try to keep the podcast going as much as we can. Definitely try to keep the blog going as best we can. But bear with me if I stumble about a little bit, okay? So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for listening to me. Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network, brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief, the official pain relief of the 2020 Daytona 500. Also brought to you by DeborahSpears.com. Great weight loss tips, great jewelry, and great training methods on Deborah. That's DEBRA Spears.com. Thank you so much for listening to me. Hope to have another podcast very, very soon. So thank you very, very much. Hope that a year of view coming up in hopefully another week or so. So thank you so much. And always remember, keep supporting the best boxing in the world. The boxing along on the Beltway. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Take care. Oh, beautiful right hand by Dale Coley.